Okay. Trying to do this here. Fine. Trying to figure stuff out here. Just trying to throw a little kick in it in here. Okay. See. Anybody want to join me? Go right ahead. Come on in. Say hello. Anybody want to join me? Go right ahead. Come on in. Don't want to do that. Sorry. Let's see. Let's try this. Bear with me here. So I'm trying to do this on 2 devices at once. Yay. Where's that? I got red. Trying to do this. There. There's a link if you want to join me. Chat and hang out. It's just more about AAVA. Glad to see you. See, put the camera on today. There we go. So, here, anybody else want to come in? Please do. Yeah, be careful because of where the camera is. Yeah, I don't have a direct link for Stormtrooper, or I invite them right on in. But it was looking like so much fun over there on Skipper's channel on the Veteran Nation. So thought maybe some people might want to come over and hang out. For those that want to continue talking. But obviously, it's Saturday. People got honeydews to do. Just like you, AVA. Got to take care of the honeydews. Cleaning walls. So, did they get a hold of the crayons, the markers? Oh, crayons. Okay, I was about to say. Or was it the infamous reach into the britches and decorate. Yeah. The fourth, yeah, got a few days, almost a week, but that's to be expected with chitlins. And if you're here, like, subscribe, say hello. Uh, if you're from Skipper's channel, definitely say hello from Veteran Nation. Mix of chalk. Actually, there is a paint you can buy that turns a section of wall into a chalkboard. Unless you actually want to get a hang a chalkboard, and that puts a hole in the wall. But from the sounds of it, you deal with the landlord, and therefore they might not like the hole in the wall. But the paint that turns a wall into a chalkboard is something. Ah. Or another thought might be to paint a bedroom door. Especially if autistic, have them paint their next place, paint their bedroom door, or buy a door that fits, paint it up with the chalkboard paint, and let them have fun decorating that way. That gives them their place to express, and then you could always take that door with you when you leave if they have something special they want to hold on to for a few, and not quite ready to part with it. Just a thought. Just a thought. And drop in, say hello. Hello to my little friends. Uh, I'll turn around. Wrong camera. You're despicable. But it's a warm day today. 92.5 outside, 87 in the cab, and yeah, feels like is definitely toastier to that. Hey, Skipper. Yeah, that sounds good. Uh, I know you're busy, Skipper, but yeah, Spawny and Squirrel or Max Lab or anybody wants to join me, I've posted the link to join me on the stream here and keep talking about fun stuff, about the nerdy side of things. But yeah, just not a whole lot going on. This is the weekend where they had that event going where we were formerly parked. Unfortunately, the things I was hoping to happen by now haven't, so we'll see. Find out more details tomorrow. Let's see. I'm just trying to tap that. Okay, no, giving the same link. Okay, that's good to know. And we're just about hanging out here. Have things organized and then I'm okay. Yeah. Oops. Now this possible trailer I'll be swapping car and tow dolly for. Possible. Apparently was gutted because it was going to become turned into a taco wagon. Person decided not to do that. But before that, it was an old camper. So, and one of the things is to possibly put a gate in the back of it, and that turn into, as you would call it, a rolling studio. Super. As well as a place to be able to store a scooter and or any other potential item if anybody wants, we're so kind. I guess Spawn Trooper and Max don't like me very much. Uh, not just that. So I got AVA and Skipper listening in. But to be honest, not much to listen to. I just thought I'd pull it up and just have a way to hang out for a while. Really. And right before you started your stream, Skipper, TC had his freedom clock on for a few. So, which link is that, AVA? The join link? Is that what you're referring to? All right. So, give me a second here. Try and see what I can do. Get my brain working here in the right order. Okay, switch email accounts. Okay, make sure I see that right. Okay. All right. See. I gotta make it a little bit easier. Okay. I do that. Yeah.
There is a message for you.
There we go. Get out of there. I believe that's it. So it's on its way there. AVA. Well, fun banter. Can't comment and have fun. Something a little different. You know, our buddy Tav, yeah, him and for public safety and all them dealing with their special kind of trolls. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. This is the Eric Miller Show. What's up, man? I'm just cleaning walls.
Well, it
Master
could be
Chief.
worse. It could be worse. You could be cleaning ceilings.
Oh, you have no idea. I was dumb enough to spray paint an entire universe on my son's ceiling, so I got to deal with that too.
Well, at least it's not like Daddy Daycare, the movie
Well, I
Daddy
didn't. I didn't think we were
Daycare.
going to be moving, so I was just like, fuck it, spray everything. Because my son likes stars, so I tried to make a galaxy on the ceiling.
Oh, that's cool. That's why they make those little projectors now.
Yeah. Hindsight.
Hindsight's
But it would
always
be fun to have
2020.
you here to help scrubbing walls, man.
I wouldn't be able to do it too well unless I had a mobility scooter and we attached a brushes to the walls and a brush aimed at the walls and one for the ceiling.
Uh,
Attach a
it'll
roller.
just bring back. I'll give you PTSD flashbacks from having to do real service like mopping and scrubbing things.
Oh, the mopping and scrubbing ain't nothing. I stripped and waxed floors on the aircraft carrier. I
Man,
got down on my hands and knees with the greeny weenies and the SOS and the steel wool.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't enjoy was stripping and waxing floors.
I did such a good job that I got stuck being the only person going around and doing the edges.
Oh. Yeah, I was that guy who purposely splashed it on the wall so I didn't have to do it again.
No, I did
They're
such
like,
a
you
good
suck at
job
this. Oh, sorry. I guess I won't do it again.
that instead of because of all the buildup that would build up around, of course, around the edges on the ship, that instead of them having to completely redo the the main floor all the time, it was like, okay, just take care of the buildup and here you go.
I'm not sure how
And
many
actually,
people are listening, but that's what it is to be on active duty. It's not all guns and glory. It's literally toilet brushes and floor stripper.
or getting up with what they called elephant snot up into the asbestos insulation and
Asbestos
trying
is
to patch the
tasty.
insulation.
It's like free cotton candy.
And I was on board one of those ships that is known for asbestos and mesothelioma and all that, and it's like, okay, I have a experience that is direct exposure, but of course, Navy records, especially in the '90s, mid '90s, like that, weren't as extensive as the other branches.
Sorry if you
They
hear
were
me
all main
panting,
cousins.
scrubbing.
No. Right now, I think it's just me and you. Skipper said he was listening. Of course, you know how YouTube is, where if you don't do anything for a few, it doesn't show you the count. You're not shown in the count.
Well, I think I'm gonna
You have to be active to be
take a break,
counted.
and then I'm gonna go to the kitchen and get onto a higher level so I can talk to the God man. Trying to freak my wife out.
The things you say sometimes, Star. What are they?
Yeah, we
Hello,
got
Lacey.
got to clean. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hmm.
I can also hear the center of attention as well back there.
That sucks, man. Like I got this crayon is probably the worst to try to get off the wall.
They make washable markers and stuff. But then again,
Yeah.
the problem is you move into a place, and if the walls aren't freshly white to begin with, you go cleaning, and then the next thing you know, you got to clean the whole wall, more than that 2 foot square because, yeah, you got a nice clean patch.
Well, the only reason why we're scrubbing the walls is because we had the housing inspector come over yesterday. Well, not yesterday. Sorry, on Thursday, and literally told me to my face in front of my wife, said, "You cannot move because your sun color's on the wall." My son is autistic, and that's his form of expression. And he literally told me, "We're not going to let you move because your sun color's on the walls." I mean,
They
I
can't
don't know if
stop
that's
you.
legal
They
or
can't
not.
legally stop you from moving. I mean, I know it's California and everything, but they legally can't stop you from moving.
Well,
They'll
they
keep
already
from
took my
returning
money
the deposit, but yeah.
because I already paid to have the lease broken. I paid to have the house removed from the market. So they took that money. I don't see how they can legally stop me from going. And I already paid rent for the other place that I don't even live in yet.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this place is pretty fucked up. Pardon my French.
Well, you're in California. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's why. I mean, it's not a big surprise, but I'm I'm
And then over
pretty
here in
upset with this
mini
place.
California, aka Austin, Texas, they want to they try to treat Austin, Texas like it's San Francisco.
I don't know about all that, but I know that this place is pretty terrible. They raise the rent every year, and they can legally get away with it. As long as they stay at the 10% line, they can increase rent every single year. Whenever I sign a new contract, it's ridiculous. I don't see how you can just. And then the other thing too is inflation sucks. I don't get paid anything extra. Everything goes up in California, but nobody gets paid anything.
And
Sorry,
unfortunately,
venting.
I mean, I was born
Really
in that
annoying.
state, but I'm glad I was removed at 3 months old.
Ugh.
But I have been in California a few times.
How many people are in the
Glad I'm
chat?
not.
I
I'm
can't
glad
see.
I don't think that.
Got like 200 people in the chat.
Nobody's in the chat. Last thing that's in the chat is when you said StreamYard. Nobody's saying anything.
Cool.
We're just sitting here basically talking to ourselves, and maybe Skipper's listening. Depends on how
Yeah.
busy he is.
No, I just
Getting
wanted
ready
to,
for his trip.
I wanted to pop in, talk to you until lunch gets here. I don't know where those other knuckleheads are.
I don't know. The one knucklehead's over in the UK, so he's
Probably
6 hours
sleeping.
ahead of me. Well,
Either
he'll
that or
early
he's
get
eating
sleep.
dinner, right?
Yeah, probably eating dinner. Probably eating dinner with his light his light
With
pew
his
pew
baby.
that doesn't hit anything. Being a stormtrooper. I mean stormtrooper.
Now that she's drinking her sippy.
Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers. I like stormtroopers. I got a Darth Vader helmet.
I've never been much of a Star Wars fan. I've always liked my Star Trek.
No, I have the helmet because I was planning on getting the costume, but then I got fat, and because I like the saying about Darth Vader. He's the greatest dad in the universe.
Come to the dark
That's
side.
debated.
You've got cookies.
It's gonna get hot today, but it's nice right now. Sun's out, clear skies.
You were Army, if I'm understanding correctly, you were an Army vet.
Yes, I am.
Ah.
And now I'm a VA veteran.
Yeah, ain't that just
They
loads of
should have
fun?
a VFW specifically for the VA. Or wait, it wouldn't be a foreign war, or would it?
No, it'd be more like the American Legion for the VA.
Ah,
Although I have fun. Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe what's going on here in Texas. Okay, I finally was able to force them to put me on community care. I think I was saying that the other day when you were, and I think you were listening. But anyways, but in the last 48 hours, the North Texas VA, which includes like Dallas, Texas, has said that they're going to stop using the Tri-West provider for setting up community care. They're going to make it in-house. And then the Central Texas VA posted a nice little thing, well, both of them, starting to push for the 22 plus a day nonsense. And I got to add a comment to the Central Texas VA regarding, well, maybe if they paid attention to the quality of life for the veterans and stopped denying everything, maybe there'd be a few left. If they actually gave two shakes. I said two shakes.
that's what I
I
was
didn't
saying about.
curse, but
Kevin's case too. Like it, and it goes to all the veterans that don't get what they need, right? If we continue to let, that's, you're not really. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if you want me to talk about that here, but it's
Go ahead. This is banter. This is I don't care if we talk about the VA, if we talk about Star Trek,
like
Star Wars,
if the
but
civilian
Force.
population out there that watches all these things that happen to veterans, if they continue to let it happen and they don't speak to their congressmen or to their senators or to the people that can actually have some type of influence. Um, that's what I was talking about the other night. Is like it doesn't matter if you support Kevin or if you support me. It's about the next veteran, because if the people let it continue to happen, it's going to happen to other veterans. It's not just
Yeah,
me.
it
It's
happens
not
to
just you.
Dave,
You know
it
what I mean?
happens to me. Happens to Blind Justice. It happens to even Skipper. And Skipper was an officer.
That's what I'm saying. Like if the people keep flying over our stories and not paying attention, then it's going to continue to happen, and the VA is going to keep winning.
But the only way we can get, but I mean, look at this. It's just me, you, and maybe Skipper too, and maybe my wife if she's got on yet.
So there is
That there's not
I,
I don't have a whole lot of subscribers or followers or anything like that. Right now, one of the biggest platforms, well, the two biggest platforms are Angry Vet and Skipper. Angry Vet and Veteranation. Those are two biggest, veteran platforms I know of at the moment, as far as YouTube goes.
yeah, I'm not about the YouTube
But of course,
world, honestly. I'm not here for money. I'm not here for the clicks and the likes. I'm just here to
no, I'm
share
not
my
here for the
story.
money either. I'm just here to have fun and share. That's part of the reason why I'm able to live stream with so few numbers of subscribers and stuff, is because I've had the darn account for so long that it's gone through numerous iterations of oh, you need this many subscribers, or you need this many subscribers. Oh, you can stream for free. I kind of got grandfathered in.
It's just, to me, it's
And
annoying.
one of those.
Somebody accused me of being a clout chaser. If I was a clout chaser, then I'd be asking for money, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what the hell these people are trying to imply, because I'm not a clout chaser. I'd be making
Well,
videos
I
every day,
did. There
right?
was that one social media thing called Clout for a little while I used to do, but well, I mean, I got refused from being on the Restream meme group or whatever it is that on X with Twitter. But I kind of got refused because I don't post often enough on X.
Well, that's, yeah, because it's all about the numbers and then getting people to keep coming back, right? The server
I
is
mean,
not
I have
give
a
you.
lot of followers, but like any of them even see what I'm posting. That's the problem. Is you could have tens of thousands of followers, but if nobody sees what you do, it's pointless. If the algorithms are keeping you muffled, yeah.
Well, the algorithm doesn't push my stuff out either. Uh, I have other people have to push my stuff out.
I mean, because I know on X, for
My name's
example,
too
or
similar
Twitter,
to
I know
the actual VA.
a lot of the other people are amateur radio operators on my personal X. I've gotten to
See, that's because you
see
hang out with
more towards the
nerds.
veteran side and a lot of bots lately. Huh?
I said you hang out with
Yeah, there's a
nerds.
lot of ham radio operators that are veterans.
Yeah, you're all nerds. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, it's
I
better
don't
than
have a
just
ham
hanging out
radio.
with the birds and the
I
bees.
can I can still access those channels on my radio. I can listen in. I don't have a license or anything. I mean, I could transmit, but I'm not going to risk that. I haven't paid for my license yet.
No. Yeah. If you ain't paid for it, stick to CB and stick to legal CBing. They've been doing a lot of enforcement.
I have GMRS access.
Oh, GMRS. Yeah, they started cracking down on that whole link repeater system that was going on with GMRS. I had a GMRS license for a few.
Well, I use it because of Airsoft, so I can talk to my dudes and not get not get in trouble with the FCC when you accidentally transmit over a fire channel. That was last weekend.
Yeah.
I was doing a radio check
Last weekend.
and the guy jumps on. He's like, "Loud and clear. By the way, you're on the fire channel." Fuck.
Are you using one of those Chinese knockoffs that program?
I'm not paying $500 for a No American radio when I can get the same thing for $30. Especially it's if it breaks, I just get another one.
Okay, what I suggest, if you haven't done so already, is getting a program called Chirp.
Yeah, that's
CHIRP.
I know. Well, actually, now that we're talking about it, how do I make a private channel so that other people on the field tune in and listen to what we're talking about?
Well, that's the problem, especially even with DMRS.
Because I talked to the FCC now 3 times.
Whether or not they can talk.
No, okay. So like I was saying, I contacted the FCC for Part 15, right? Because the Baofangs you don't need a license according to them, to what I was told, for Part 15, I guess. So I asked them, how do I get a private channel? And they told me talk to the technical division. I talked to the technical division and they told me to talk to customer service. And then customer service told me to talk to technical. And everybody says, "Oh, you don't need a license." I don't want to get in trouble for creating a private channel and then transmitting, and then FCC comes after me, kicks down the door.
Okay. Here's a couple of tricks you might be able to pull. One, are those guys? Yeah, we're live, so you might have to.
Yeah, don't be telling me nothing illegal. I'm trying to do it.
No, it's not technically illegal. It's not technically illegal if you have a dual band capable radio. There's also something called the MERS channels, the multiple user radio service.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm familiar with the MERS.
The MERS, which is very common at Walmarts and grocery stores tend to use those a lot of times for their in-house channels. It's nothing like sitting in the parking lot and listening in to them sending somebody out for shopping carts. But
okay, I'm following.
Like,
I listened to one channel and he calls them the bubble walkie-talkies.
Bubble packs, yes. Yeah, they came in the bubble packs, yeah. But now see, if you go through the best place to start when trying to find something a little more privatized. Now, granted, unless you are basically paying the big bucks to get on the Kenwood or Motorola systems that require special decoding equipment to hear, anybody can listen in if they know your frequency or just scan around and find it. Even if you are on GMRS or the family radios or the MERS or even in amateur radio, doing, person to person line, type stuff. Just because you put in the privacy code, aka the tone squelch or digital code squelch, it's not anybody can listen in. They just can't interfere and talk if they don't have the right tone or encode decode.
Okay.
So so they're not, so yeah, the only thing you can really do is if you go through every your state or region of your state's repeater coordinators, they might help you find a frequency that's not in use, and then you can apply for an FCC license that covers that specific frequency.
Now keep in mind, this is
Um,
for just outdoor gaming, gameplay. I'm not trying
yeah,
to be out there building a whole network, repeaters and stuff like that.
no, you don't technically have to. It's just because repeaters use an input and output frequency. But the state repeater coordinators have a full blown list of who's on what. They know where. They're the ones that coordinate which frequencies that chips get, which frequencies LAPD gets, which frequencies fire gets, which they're the ones that coordinate all the frequencies that they're using, so that way they don't interfere with each other.
Well, I just want to be able to transmit
Actually,
and
the
have it
only other
bounce
way
the
to
TV.
truly the only other truly way to go private would still require that you at least have cell service or some sort of data network that can be used over the site, and that would be to use something like Zello or what they call a network radio.
Yeah, this you got. We're not trying to. I'm not trying to spend a whole lot of money and buy license after
Well,
license. I was just
Zello,
trying
for
to figure out
example, is
how to make
free.
a
Zello is
channel
not for free, but there's a delay.
because I have a cheap Bofang, and I'm not going to buy another, higher up radio because I'm not out there using the radio every day. If I were to do that, I'd buy some,
Another thing you can
legit.
do is get a couple of boost phones, which used to be Nextel, the Nextel service, and basically use that backbone. That would be totally privatized because that's within the cell networks. The only one I found that had the least amount of delay was actually the Nextel. I forget what they call it at the moment, but the Nextel two-way radio network had almost no delay. I used to sell Nextel at one before Sprint bought them out. Which basically Nextel became the Nextel two-way radio service. Basically went over to uh, Boost Mobile, which of course is a prepaid service. I mean, like I say, it all depends upon how privatized you want to get, and literally as far as
I'm not trying to get that.
talking to
Like I said, it's
frequency
just
coordinator.
I'm just out there gaming. That's it. I'm not trying to make a full network.
Yeah,
Just me and 5 other people, and they're not going to be wanting to buy extra kit, buying Nextel phones.
so
We all
where
have
you're
the same
playing your
cheap
airsoft,
radio.
where you're playing your airsoft, do you have good cellular service?
Yeah.
Everyone have good cell service?
Yes.
Okay, there are a couple of options. Well, the cheapest option is an app for your phone called Zello, Zello.
No. Okay. Okay. I'm not. Well, I don't know about
Well,
everybody, but I'm not
the
taking my
app is
phone out
totally
there on
free.
the field. Talking about 3 joules of pressure that hits my phone, it's going to shatter the glass.
Yeah. Well, they also, depending upon where you keep the phone, but
You're
they
recommending using
can
it
be
as a
used with a
radio.
Bluetooth microphone.
Yeah, but
You can technically use it as a radio. Now they also sell network radios in both handheld and mobile versions that use that same network. You pay for the
I think
data
that
plan
if I were to
to
risk
go
my
in the
phone, I would use a
radio.
Discord.
Yeah. I mean, there's various levels. I mean, you know, but the best thing you can do is just basically, find a frequency that they're not on, or
Well, how do you
if
know who's on frequency unless you make the call out, right?
you can make the call out, or for example, if you see that they're all running the blister pack GMRS radios, and you and
So
your
we've all got
friends
the
have access to the MERS network, including your competitors.
most of them, yeah. Some of them have actual like Harris radios.
Oh, they're hardcore. Let me guess, they have the automatic and sniper rifle versions too, right?
Oh, of course, the ones where their mom buys everything for them.
I did paintball. I did paintball one time. One day with a church group here in Texas before I went. When I was a teenager. Before I went into the service, long before I went into the service, and it was all good. It was all well and fine. I mean, I didn't do that great. Because I was never meant for the Army. I was meant for Navy or Air Force. Until the final round when they brought in the pros, mix the pros in with everybody, and I'm sitting there, I'm out, and they decide to all start loading because they had all these rounds. I'm out, my arms are raised, arms and weapon are raised, and I'm just getting blasted from 30 directions just because they want to get rid of them.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not
seriously?
doesn't
What did
feel
I do to
good.
make
That's
them
for sure.
mad? It's
I
like, what
don't
did I do
crack
to
those
make
things.
you mad? But yeah, I
I am really
mean,
starting to hate crayons right now.
I took them all away.
Red and purple are the worst.
well, that's easy. Give all the red ones to Skipper. He likes his red crayons.
Oh, shots fired. Now he's gonna come up. He's gonna say something now.
Only if he's still listening.
All right, I'm gonna take a break from scrubbing. My freaking fingers are starting to rot.
Are you starting to feel like a prune?
Yeah, but I'm using those magic erasers, so there's some type of chemical in there. It's making my skin peel.
Uh, how big
I
of
don't
an
know what it
area
is.
did your son create with?
I don't even have to describe it. I'll just put it in a few words. The whole fucking house.
Did you invest in stock with them before you bought all those magic erasers?
Yeah, we got 200 packs.
And that might not be enough.
It might not because I'm already almost up through the first pack. Looks like
But you know
there's
what else might work is
20 left.
basically a sponge, sponge or the greeny weeny sponge combo and some Windex.
No, I don't want to strip the paint. I'm just trying to get down. Like everything else comes off. Paint that we use washable paint, of course, and then the chalk, easy peasy. But the crayon, whoever invented crayons needs to slap themselves.
At one point, there used to I could have sworn there used to be scented crayons.
I remember scented markers, but not scented crayons.
It was I think it was a knockoff brand at like Dollar Tree type of thing, or Family Dollar, where the scented crayons were. But yeah,
Are you telling me that you were a glue sniffer?
and never. I tried whippets one time though in the Navy.
By accident, allegedly.
No, it was suggested. I tried and I didn't care for it.
No, I'm just I don't do any of that stuff. I don't even drink unless my wife makes me because she wants it to be her birthday.
We don't have alcohol in our house because my wife is she likes to say recovering alcoholic.
Yeah, no
She's
problem.
been she's been let's see, 2016, 8 years sober now since the last time she
Let's
had
just
any
say
alcohol.
this. I had to go to ASAP twice at the commander's discretion. ASAP is Army Substance Abuse Program. So I completely understand. I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke cigarettes. I do dip, and occasionally I'll smoke a cigarette, but that's it. Like
Dipping is worse than
somebody's in my
smoking.
backyard. Huh?
Dipping is worse than smoking.
I'm pretty sure, but I don't smoke because my family doesn't enjoy the smell.
Yeah, I smoke the cancer sticks, but if you see the corncob pipe, it's because I took some cigarette tobacco and put it in there. The wife
This
takes
story.
the butts and rolls them in papers. I put in a corncob pipe to stretch
But
the money as far as possible. And the wife
when I
spills
was a
all the
kid,
coffee in the house.
we used to go to the Indian reservation and get cigarette loads. You know what those are?
What did you say? Cigarette? You talking about like the candy
Yeah.
cigarettes or whatever?
No. Okay, so cigarette loads. They were little, like little. They look
Oh
like
yeah,
little pills.
where you
But
load them yourself, the food.
so
Yeah, we
yeah, I
refer
put
to
it
it
in my
as food.
dad's cigarettes and it blew up because they were little explosive loads.
Oh, okay.
Like so, they have the. Sometimes they would put them inside of the cigars. And the cowboys would smoke them. Blow their cigars up.
Yeah, especially for the movies. And
Yeah, it's a real
cartoons.
thing. But yeah, it was like $2, and you got this tin of 20 loads. It's enough to blow up a whole pack of cigarettes. I used to do that to my dad, just to fuck with him sometimes.
And some of those older Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Yeah, no, they make them. I don't know if they do it anymore, but that was pretty interesting and entertaining when I was a kid. Like, oh, I wonder if he grabbed the right cigarette. But anyway, yeah. So taking a break from scraping crayon.
Anywho, if there's anybody hiding out there, please speak up.
Hello, I'm here.
You're not only here, you're very present on screen. Uh, so you decided to stay in California. Well,
No,
will your new
not
address
not
change?
that. We are here for a few different reasons, but it hasn't. We can move. It's just we stay because the education system for special needs is they have a really good program here where we live. So that's why we're staying. But we originally moved here to be closer to family, and that turned out to be a terrible idea.
Yeah, being closer to
But anyway,
family means you're closer to familial interference.
yeah, and I didn't realize how weird it would get, but it got real weird. So we're kind of stuck with them. But we're here because my kids need it. Like I would rather suffer living in California if it meant the betterment and enlightenment for my children, because their education is very important, and I am very very involved in my kids' education to the point where the school hates me.
Yeah. My youngest kiddo there is 12. We homeschool her.
Oh, we got he's 5. And he goes to kindergarten. There's been some issues going on with that, so that's a different story for a different time. But the education system, like I said, is the only reason why we're staying here. Not because it's uh, the greatest in the nation, but it's good for where we are, and we don't want to spoil it for if we want to move. So we're not moving out of state right now. We're literally moving down the street.
So you don't even have to fight with starting fresh at a new VA
Right.
because you change visions.
Well, so the crazy thing is, I've been to every single VA in Northern California healthcare system. They're all bad
Oh yeah.
because I started in Menlo Park in the Bay, and then I went to the Palo Alto system, and that's where I was first assaulted, and it was swept under the rug there. Then I went to Stockton, and I had a doctor there tell me that he would rather me commit suicide than him give me medication, and I thought that was nuts. So I ended up going to another VA, and that's when I started doing all the recording. Because that VA, my very first appointment, I had this lady yelling at me and telling me uh, that I had to leave because I got mad. And then they called the cops on me, forced me outside, wouldn't let me in to use the bathroom. I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I had just had spinal surgery, so I was pretty upset. I wasn't feeling the greatest, and I was going to physical therapy. But that's what led to all of what made my channel was because of all the assaults that were being swept under the rug. Man, I'm getting angry talking about it.
Talking about it's good. It's
It all
sharing more of your
started
story and
COVID, man. COVID made everything bad.
oh. I got
Because we,
comments
we
on
had a
that.
presidential mandate for masks when I went to this program where I had to live there at the VA, which I don't recommend anybody ever do.
Well, that and those domicile programs don't allow for you if you have a family. You got to go in. You got to go in solo.
Well, the problem was that you had to do a 2-week quarantine in order to stay at this program. But my problem that I was having there was the fact that staff got to leave every single day, go home, be around potential carriers, bring it back to us where we're being quarantined. And they were getting mad at me because I was pointing that out. I was like, why do I have to stay in this box when you guys get to leave every single day?
Oh, the hypocrisy.
And then I told the patient advocate about it. They did jack shit. They're like, oh, well, we'll make sure it's documented.
Well, I think they're in the process of changing the title from patient advocate to something else because they know that patient advocate
Well,
is
they
not what
did.
they do. They do not for the
I,
patient.
I do. I got to correct myself. You're right because they did change the they changed the name at my VA at least. And when you call them, it's no longer patient advocate. It's patient customer service.
They're trying to say customer service now. Oh man.
That's what I'm talking about. Like it blew my mind. I was like, so we are just paychecks. We're customers. They don't even view us as veterans. They don't view us other than a paycheck, and it's sad because that's how they treat. That's how the medical treatment is based. Is oh, as long as we get paid.
Oh,
That's
and
why they have a business office, and that shit pisses me off too. Ah man, all right, I gotta stop. Well, anyway, doorbell's ringing. Lunch is here.
all right. Hopefully I'll rejoin soon. If I'm still on. Rejoin me after lunch.
Roger. I'm gonna take a breath, calm down a little bit, and eat.
Fill that
All right,
belly. Say hello to the kid,
Right.
to the phone.
got it, man. I'll see you later.
All right. Later. Back to just me. Anybody? Bueller. 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 Anybody else hiding around the corner? Uh, going through some of my alerts. Clear them out. Anybody else want to join me in chat? More than welcome to. That was AVA, a fellow veteran, fellow mod over at Veteran Nation. If you're watching, say hello, subscribe, comment. Even if you think my beard looks scraggly, I'll take it. You can do it. Here all by my lonesome. Come on. Uh, I know it's Saturday. It's midday. Come on in and hang out. Have a chat. Even come on the stream with me. As long as you play nice. Don't have to play well, just play nice. Nothing? Nobody? Come on, man. Have to be my own soundboard. Anybody? Buddy, nobody, nothing. Hmm. I hope don't disconnect me while I do this. Still nobody. Hit me twice. If you're here, say hello. Let's say hello to Daffy. Navy Daffy. Ugh. Nothing. Nobody. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, comment. Definitely say comment in the chat and say hello. I know it can take a second or two to load, especially if there's an ad ahead of time. There, well, was having fun with Veteran Nation stream. Thought I'd go ahead and start one afterwards, hoping maybe some people will come over, hang out, have fun, continue the fun side of conversations, not all the serious stuff so much. I can get serious, talk serious stuff if you want to, but don't have to. Talk nerdy, geeky stuff. Want to, you can donate to help me get a mobility scooter. Links down, going across the bottom. Or if you want to help me get better equipment for when I do go to the VA, recording them, or anything else in general, donate directly to the Venmo. Buy me a coffee, donate there. And I have subscribers set up. I don't think this will allow people to pay through YouTube yet. I don't have enough people. Don't have to do that though. What about just hanging out and having fun right now? But where's the fun if nobody talks? Oh, birthday. Say hello. Can people even hear me well? Anyone's here? What would you like to chat about? Talk about? I said earlier, just to recap, the updates I was hoping to, good updates I was hoping to have by now did not happen. So either prayerfully they're delayed or whatever. Ah, Spawny. Great to see you. More listening. I can give you a link to join me if you want to. If talking is more your speed, Spawny. Did you bring your buddy's Max Lab or your real special buddy Sacred Squirrel with you? In-house.
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
Okay. Not sure what in-house mission means. Pardon my Americanese. At one point, Skipper was sitting was listening in the background. AVA might still be listening. I don't know. I know lunch called. The honeydew list. Dang it. Yeah, go this way. Oh, I hate old seats. Cushions don't hold up to my big tuchus. Ooh, this is a little breeze. Okay. 4 mile an hour. Oh, 6.7 mile an hour breeze. Okay. Alrighty then. Anybody else hiding like termites in the woodwork? Termites and carpenter ants. Well, not good when you have COPD, but it is what it ain't. Ah, nobody's here. Maybe if I was popular like Skipper or you, Spawny, I didn't really have to worry, but but actually living, I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm one of them. AVA and you, huh? There's somebody else here. They're hiding. They don't want to be known. Boo, 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 boo. We need to go and steal us some subscribers. Oh, I already did. He's already been on here. If you were to rewind, you'd see him. We were talking about him having to clean crayons off of walls, especially red and purple, and and how they invested in a lot of magic erasers. I just put this live up just to try to continue the fun from Skipper's Veteran Nation. I know he, like I said, he said he was listening earlier, but uh, as he was preparing for his journey, even when I'm parked, I'm always on a journey, being in an RV. And the weather outside, just so you know, it is not converted for Celsius or centigrade. It's 94.6 Fahrenheit, 29% humidity. I even spoke with AV a little bit regarding radios and his airsoft fun. So, and over there in the UK, y'all have a frequency band that we can't play with over here. 4 meters. Something run me out of something. Here, this is what I think it's that. Yeah, this is that. That's what it was. Okay. Ah, that's what I was saying. Okay. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Yes.
Let me
Hello.
in, let me in. Not by the hair of your chinny chin chin.
So, can you hear me? I can't stay long, but I just thought I'd pop on and come and give you a bit of company.
Oh, I can hear you perfectly fine, brother. That's why I did it via StreamYard instead of Rumble. So, because I knew that guesting in on using StreamYard was going to be less of a hassle.
Mm-hmm. And as you can see, I'm looking in the mirror, thinking about self-pity and swallow. Yes.
And
How
why
you?
you forgot to eat your roast beast.
I did the what? The what? The who?
Yes, the roast beast down there in Whoville.
Yes. Those who's people. Nothing but a headache.
Mr. Nice in your smile.
So yeah, it's been an exciting day. So yeah, that storm is a bit of a eye opener, yeah.
You know, over there on the East Coast, I haven't been able to see too much news about it because I don't have a generator running to where I've got that kind of stuff up and running on the regular like I normally
Mm-hmm.
like I normally do. So it's just I'm over here in my own little world in Central Texas.
Yeah, I
So we
mean,
might
like I
have a
said,
wonderful storm come up the Gulf, but yeah, very little of it will affect all the way over here.
one
Yeah,
second.
I think it's funny as I was starting to say, I was kind of, and Skipper was able to repeat for me a little bit. It's funny how, I'm being denied a powered mobility scooter for protection from the elements and uh, consistent power.
Yeah.
For one, they operate off of battery power, so they can be charged via solar. Hello. But obviously, I guess they don't know that. Uh, and because obviously one of the one of the evaluators didn't even much know about RVs or caravans, as y'all lovingly call them over there.
Mm-hmm.
All the different types of caravans there are.
Well, no, we call them mobile homes.
Yeah, motorhomes, mobile homes. Yeah. Have the mobile devices.
Yeah, mobile homes, mobile phones. Everyone walks around like a drone.
But it's like, okay, well, look at all the veterans right now that don't have consistent power,
Mm-hmm.
and are in line of extreme weather. That how they expected to keep their VA issued powered mobility devices
Mm.
going good. I mean, you can't protect against Mother Nature no matter what you try.
No, no. When Mother Nature wants to send a little signal out, she'll let you know. That's for sure.
Although there is one simple thing about being, living full time in a mobile home is
Hmm.
that if I know bad weather's coming, like a hurricane, I can take
You can,
my whole house with me.
yeah. Which is yeah.
I
I mean
can
that's
move
a good.
out of the path of the storm,
Yeah,
or at least where things are calmer.
yeah. Thing is, though, I thought this storm was not going to. I knew that it was going to be a Category 3 or Category 4, but the damage it's created and the unfortunate loss of life is just, you'd expect something from a level 5 or something, but the news has been. I mean, Cedar Creek, Richie got ripped apart.
They got ripped apart last year,
Yeah.
and
Now,
they barely rebuilt, which means what they have up with a lot of it was still exposed.
mm, but the
Unless
thing,
they had 6 month builds, and then if a 6 month build
mm,
isn't quite going to be up to specifications, that's something that takes a year or two to build and build sturdy.
yeah. Well, the thing is, one thing I've noticed in the States, you guys build with wood. And, a lot of the brick buildings are old or, they're not very sturdy. And I'm surprised you guys don't, like I watch these programs on YouTube about, people building houses by, using compressed concrete with rebar. And they seem to survive these storms. And I'm surprised people in Tornado Valley or in areas where you do have a lot of storms that they don't sort of like build that sort of type of building. But it's
That's
always wood frames or
because wood is an abundant resource, therefore it is a cheaper resource,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
and as such, even though the cost of lumber did go up during the pandemic, yeah, it's still. But I mean, I feel sorry for those that spend, whether in Florida or here in Texas, that spend
Mm,
or financing for $500,000 or more U.S. dollars, which I know, yeah, the exchange rate to theirs would be quite a bit. But yeah, they're spending all that huge amount of money or financing that huge amount of money for something that technically would not hold up in those kinds of storms.
mm. Yeah, it's just like the flooding down in New Orleans, like where they had all that flooding. I mean, apparently there's still places down there they just literally had to rip away. They had to just rip it down and clear the whole area because
Yeah,
it
that
cost too much to rebuild.
well, because a mold got into a lot of things. I mean, the water sat for so long before draining out that the mold, wasn't just like 3 feet of mold along the bottom, the bottom on the bottom floor,
Yeah.
on floor, and maybe the basement, which is usually, well, in that area, old homes, the basements were made out of rock, out of stone.
Mm.
It wasn't just some mold that could be easily replaced with drywall. It went up, in some cases all the way to to the rafters.
Yeah, I unfortunately watched a video where they showed some of the buildings in New Orleans that were condemned and cool and Bennett, the state, you know. But I just think that using wood, yes, it may be cheaper and it's in abundance, but there has to be a line crossed when it comes to living in an environment where you have storms or tornadoes and stuff.
Well, that's why one of the things they were doing, but just a couple years ago, there was an article here in Austin, Texas, where they were 3D printing with concrete,
Oh yeah, I watched that. It's like a machine, isn't it? It just goes around in a circle and just lays down.
and lays down layer upon layer of the walls.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And they said
And while it's still a bit damp, that's when you might want to try and shove anything in it, like wires or your wiring or anything.
I think there was one company that they said that what they do is they wait until a certain layer is done and then they place the rebarb in it. And because they do two layers, like they do the inner layer and the outer layer, they use them as like what they call a frame, and then they put the rebarb in between, and then they filled in between.
And
Which okay, fair enough, but it still doesn't hold the inner and the outer walls in, unless they have like little what you call it.
We're going to find that out the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the houses that are stuck up that are in Texas, especially here in Texas, that's held up the longest and the best against all these, hurricanes and tornadoes and everything else over, hundreds and hundreds of years, a couple hundreds of years, are the old, basically mud and stucco type build.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they built in Central America.
I mean, there's loads of companies out there. I mean, you can you can buy a container, reinforce it, and put it in the ground, and there's your storm shelter.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing here in Texas too.
Yeah, because there's a guy over here in the UK, and it was quite funny actually. He built a tunnel from his house to the back of his garden, and then he dug a big ass hole and then built a bunker in there. But what he did, he used steel sheets and reinforcements and stuff. And then what he did, he filled it up layer by layer. Like he would do like 3 foot of cement, concrete, rebarb, and then another 3 foot, and then another 3 until it went over the roof. And he just it's on YouTube. If you just put, I think it's Foos, Colin Foos, and I think he spent the last 5 years building all this, and now he's building an underground garage in front of his house, and he's using not the Mandalorian, the car. What's the car from Back to the Future?
A DeLorean.
A DeLorean. He's using a DeLorean as a model, and he's going to have like a hydraulic lift and everything in it. And it's a very interesting look. It's a very interesting watch because this guy is a fabricator of everything, so it's worth having a look at. Maybe people in the States.
Fabricators that could help. Well, I have a brother who's into fabrication. He's got access to CNC lathes and everything else there with his company, but lately he's not super reliable.
Yeah.
Some certain things have gotten a hold of him, and I pray for my brother daily.
I didn't realize you were ordained.
Huh?
I didn't realize you were ordained.
Yes, I am actually ordained.
Well, so I need to start calling you Padre Eric then.
Call me Rev, Chaplain, Eric. Heck, the first the apostles were ordained. Directly by Christ himself. They still went by their names: Paul, Peter, John,
Luke, Matthew.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I've got my own relationship with a big man. So
pull out my title is when it becomes a credibility issue with like the VA, when they're being a government agency basically. Oh, you're just some poor schmuck. Excuse me, I'm such and such. It's like, hey, you better back your little truck up.
Yeah.
Don't call me about it. I'll be the first one to tell you the truth. I'll be the first one to tell on myself. I'm so brutally honest. If I did something, I'll admit it and I'll apologize for it.
I've heard your situation, and I've heard AVA situation, and Mike talking, and
I'm just glad that I haven't had the shiny bracelets. But then again, I
Yeah.
haven't had decent recording equipment with me.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want you to go. We don't want you going through the same thing that poor angry vet's going through. He's being thrown. They're using him as an excuse.
He actually had his primary care doctor refuse care,
Yeah,
and that's basically what happened with AVA. With Angry Vet and AVA. It's their primary care doctors that were being screwballed,
mm,
as well as the specialists. I'm dealing with specialists, and I'm dealing with specialists who tell the primary care doctors that they're the boss,
yeah.
which is not how it's supposed to work.
It's a shame you can't go into a medical center and actually get treatment there. You probably might be even be better off in the medical center.
Well, yeah, except for when it comes to like specialty care and stuff like that. I'm in the
Yeah,
process of switching over to what they're referring to as community care, where
yeah.
I'll have a in network, meaning they've already agreed to be paid by government funds,
Mm-hmm.
VA, and will follow their hoops to some degree. Yeah, I'm in the process of getting assigned someone through that program.
I think that you'll be better off there. I think you'll get better treatment as well.
Well, I was the last time I was in something similar back in before COVID, back in New York, back in what
Mm.
2019. I was going through a quote unquote civilian doctor, a non VA doctor, and it was someone that my wife even trusted. And through them, I was able to get scheduled for like a specialist to see that yes, I have ulnar nerve issues, which causes problems in my hands, and the nerve and it goes through my elbow, and it's not in the right spot in the elbow where it should be. And sometimes surgery can correct that, but in my case, because of the edema, surgery won't correct it. You know, they might
Mm.
be able to temporarily, but they can't even. He couldn't even find it. The specialist couldn't even find it. And another thing that I was able to get done by going that route was I'm at that age of getting the infamous colonoscopies.
Oh Jesus!
Well, I wanted to get it done slightly earlier than on family.
Someone getting a message?
Yeah, my wife was trying to call in.
Oh,
To call me, messed up the
oh, you're
screen.
in trouble. Yeah, I mean,
No,
just so you know, Eric, I can't stay long, but I think, like, to give you an example, what was it, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I went into the med center, spoke to the MO, and because I had it's something to do with my thyroids, and it was quite funny when I retired and I went to the doctors, like doing the checks and everything, and he went, "Oh, you got something with your thyroids and everything." I went, "Oh, really?" And he went, "Yeah." Didn't think anything of it. And then when I went for a blood test, it turned out that I needed to take medication for my thyroids. Go figure. Um, but it's strange
in
how.
2006, my biggest thing started with I was getting some bad cases of vertigo, getting
Uh-huh.
dizzy for no reason. Walking around like a drunken sailor, and I'm completely sober. And
That's
my
normal, isn't
back
it?
problems that I already had. Well, then they throw me on a statin drug, blow me up extra 100 pounds, and then my health just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
It's like I go in for a couple of things, and next thing you know, I've got 10 things going on that and keeps growing.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
at the end of the day, there should be some sort of degree that, like, if a vet or someone who served needs to go to the VA, the VA should be able to recommend you to someone else, or they shouldn't just write on your documents, "Oh, a problem child." If they can't deal with it, there's enough specialists out there and enough free clinics out there where they can go, "Okay, and go here, go and talk to this doctor, da 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 da. And if need
There aren't too
be,
many free clinics here in the U.S., brother. I mean, over there, yeah, in the UK, yeah, things are a little set up different. But here in the U.S., I mean, heck, over there, they give those mobility scooters out like candy. I mean, for as much of a fight as I'm fighting for, you could, you know, technically get me one that would fit the bill and send it over here to me a lot quicker than I'd ever get it any other
yeah,
way.
I would have to send it over in pieces, like small pieces, though. You have to put it together like Lego.
Well, they do
Yeah.
break down into, you know, some of them break down in about 4 or 5 pieces. Some of them break down even more, but not. But I can't, you know. But those ones would break under my weight.
You know what you should
Uh,
do is you know what we should do is try and get you an ATV.
well, you can't drive those into the stores.
Oh, well, I
Somebody
wonder
that
if we
walks
should
over.
contact.
What?
I think wonder if we should contact Elon Musk and see if we can get an electric one made for you.
But no, I would love to be able to get a hold of Elon Musk because I have an idea in my head that would work with the Cybertruck that would work as basically a rover with because the Cybertruck's already designed for Mars basically as a vehicle for for the Mars exploration, being able to with its HEPA filters and self-contained system. You know,
Hmm.
I came up with an idea in my head to take that you could take like a mobility scooter type item, you
Hmm.
know, like a beefed up version of one of those, and basically have it work with with that and to where it would automatically attach and detach and all that fun, all the fun gadgets and gizmos that would work with Tesla / SpaceX. You know, but but I'm one of these. I'm a great thinker. I just don't have the ability to do.
Yeah, that's where networking comes into it.
And I can sit here I mean, I've got nothing but time on my hands all day long to sit here and if I'm awake, I'm thinking, and heck, even when I'm trying to go to sleep, I've still got 100 things going in my head. And I'm like, oh, that would be a cool idea. Oh, that would be a cool idea. Oh, that'd be nice. But it's like
Yeah.
without the or the funds, the abilities, and the tools, it's nothing but stuck in my head. And if I speak it out loud, unfortunately, somebody else will take the idea and make the money.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to a company over here about solar panel power for RVs and that, and they went. I said to her, I said, like, you know, being a vet and everything, and they said, yeah. I mean, they would have dropped the thing that I was looking at was a dual source power. It's connected to your engine and connected to your engine, not your battery, but your engine. So that means if you run your engine, it produces power. It's just like a transformer. It then goes through a system into like a hobby battery or a larger battery than a car battery, like a 24-volt or something like that. And then
Marine
it
deep
stores
cycle,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it stores that power. And then on top of your RV, you'll have like two solar panels that are like 100 watts per each or whatever, and they continuously create power. So you'll always have enough power in your battery, and the battery will be powerful enough for you to run a fridge, a refrigerator, lights, and a microwave, and it wouldn't affect it wouldn't affect the battery. So you could have like use a microwave all day. And I spoke to him. I spoke to him for nearly 45 minutes, and he was saying like there's 2 or 3 different batteries you can get. The biggest battery, yeah, that's like over 20. What was it? 2,600 kilowatt or something like that. I don't know. I don't know about batteries. So
They rate the batteries by the amp hours.
yeah, but it would have been enough for you to basically run your RV. And then when I tried to contact American companies, which I did, I sent off to about half a dozen. Only one in Orlando got back to me, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we don't do that." And I was like, "Oh right, okay, yeah." But that it's worth a thought though, because I think that would actually be beneficial to you in the long run. You've
Running
got a system.
solar is done all the time here in the States. Some of the best batteries are the Battleborn and Dragonfly batteries. And Battleborn is a veteran-owned company that makes basically really heavy duty, for like RVs, RVs and boats, lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah.
And there's tons of videos out there, different people converting to their systems and stuff with certain for example, the fifth wheel caravans. They've been got some really good systems out there. Unfortunately, my RV is so old that I'd be lucky if the roof could hold the weight.
No, I mean when it comes to the panels are fairly light. You're looking at probably about 2 to 3 kilos per panel. That's how small. That's how small but and powerful they are. But the thing is, what you also need to look at is, you can have batteries in parallel. So basically, you can have 4 or 5 batteries, right? As long as you got the space for the batteries, you can put a crap load of batteries in.
Yeah, sorry, the noise got a little noisy over here. Got a fan going.
Yeah, that's not a problem. But I need to shoot off now because I'm about to have food and all that. So,
all right, yeah, I know it's your supper time there.
yeah. So I have to unfortunately leave you. But like I said, I just thought I'd pop in and say hi. But I will stay in your stream. But I will be silent running because I'm going to be having dinner.
Unless I end the stream. But
I hope you
some other people hiding in here, so please speak up, say hello, show your presence.
Yeah, come and say hello, guys.
A few minutes.
All right. Okay, then, dude. Well, I'll see you later.
All right.
All right. And keep smiling. See you later, everybody. You take care, bud.
Bye.
Bye.
Where's the peace out?
Yeah, there you go. Peace.
Hello to California. I don't have the map wall like Skipper at Veteran Nation does. Just a moment here. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll answer your questions from fellow veterans. As if I know, depends upon what the question is and whether or not I know the answer. Because I'll admit I know little bits of everything, all of nothing. So I'm not Veteran Nation. Those guys. Some of the people he knows have a lot of good information. And I hope you can hear me just fine. Can hear me fine over a somewhat powerful fan here in the background. Want to talk religion? Want to talk amateur radio? Radios in general? Oh, I know a little bit of different stuff. The VA, VA gets kind of fun. Can get kind of fun. I am here in Central Texas, actually in Austin, Texas. So what answers I have, your mileage may vary. This stream is just more about having fun, hanging out. When I get serious, we'll get serious. When goof around, we goof around. Okay, I see the first part there. How long will it take for the VA to do what in particular? And if you can keep at least your primary care with uh, private away from the VA, it's highly suggested in most cases. So if you have specialty stuff, uh, I get that. Okay, how long it will take to review in relation to the extra form submitted? That I don't know. It depends on when they hold their next meeting where they would look at that stuff. Could be as early as next business day or as late as a couple months later. They really don't have, I mean, you have to see what the guidelines are, and because the federal guidelines don't always, well, the local guidelines don't and policies don't always match the federal rules. Okay, that is something that is definitely beyond my scope. So I will be honest, I am unsure. So I wouldn't want to give you bad info. Because I have not had to deal with that personally. Main time I had to deal with outside the VA versus inside the VA, getting something done was on a totally different level. I was getting welfare and I needed a release showing that I was disabled, unable to work for welfare, and welfare gave me 10 days to turn it around, and the VA has like 20 days to respond, and then another 20 days if they don't respond the first time. So, and that was just going through release of information. So, but if I knew the answer to that, I would gladly tell you. And even then, I think even the people that do know the answers to that won't be able to give you an exact answer. They'll give you a time frame. Legacy claim, fast track. Yeah, but looking at that, probably looking at a couple months. Okay, SMC. Pardon my ignorance. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. My brain is not functioning as well as it used to. But I'm just a regular schmuck veteran out here too, fighting the VA for different things. Compensation. Okay. That depends on whether or not it's tied to that other claim. That might be if everything's all complete. That process might be might be a little quicker.
Yeah.
And which the VA wasn't as bad as it was, and certain states, certain states and locations are worse than others. Because when I think about what I said, add in the fact that California is as bad as it is, yeah, it can take longer. Jeez. But I'm sorry for if that's the case. I'll definitely be praying for you that it goes quickly and smoothly for all of that, which is the most I can do. One thing I will say this to every veteran or veteran family member or caregiver: make sure that at least within a couple weeks of a visit, you download an updated copy of your health record, because of My Healthy Vet or the iBlue button, however you want to do it. Make sure you stay on top of that. For the simple fact being, you'd be surprised what notes are in your file and what lack of notes are in the file, and lies. I got forced to talk to a social worker here in Austin at one point, and I was mentioning how I had a legal battle for custody of a child in another state, or trying to fight for custody, and the court was coming after me for child support, even though I'm married and have a kid with me. They totally misrepresented and said I was looking for a divorce attorney. Put that in my record. Oh boy, did it piss me and my wife off. Like, what? No, that's not what I said. Because they don't. Biggest problem is they don't actively listen. So you got to stay on top of what notes they make. And I had a so-called chaplain who was a progressive Baptist up in New York State put in my notes that I was in there basically talking like I was suicidal or whatever, and talking to him for spiritual care when I'm an ordained minister. And so I wasn't talking to him about me being suicidal. I was like, if there's anyone else, I was offering my services to assist. I wasn't, but he made a note that made it look totally different, just so it made him look good on his timekeeping sheets. Make it look like he was actually doing something. So that is the biggest thing, to stay on top of those records, and especially the notes. Because I love it when they put in, oh, we reached out to this veteran twice and couldn't get a hold of them. I'm sitting there, my phone ain't rang, my no nothing came in the mail, and it's like, what number did you come to find out? The number they called isn't even one that belongs to me or has belonged to me for over a decade. It's like, okay, that number has never been in your system. That's another big problem with the VA is the systems aren't linked together. You go from one VISN, VISN or VIZ and whatever, to another, and you have to start the process from scratch. I mean, this is America. We are a mobile country. We move. People move. Closer to be with family, to get away from family, to get away from ex-family, uh, or just for health reasons, or full-time RV just to enjoy what time they've got left with their family. Yeah. Oh man. And here's the funny part: you're in California, so and unless you rewind where I talked about it, here in Texas, talking about this kind of stuff, the North Texas. I'm in Central Texas, which is Temple, Austin. Uh, I think it includes Waco, Killeen. Yeah. Anyways, possibly San Antonio. I think it's going into South Texas. But anyways, North Texas VA. Well, the VA, at least here in Texas, uses a third party company called Tri West, not to be confused with TRICARE, but Tri West for scheduling and setting up community care for veterans when you can get the VA to get off their duff and put in the referral. Okay, I just and I realized this because I just barely have just now gotten into it, even though I requested in April of 2023 to be put on community care. And they fought me that this long to put me on community care. Anyways, so North Texas VA, which covers Dallas and Fort Worth, put out a thing on their Facebook page that they're going to be doing away with Tri-West starting for any new applications for community care after October 1st and start doing it all in-house. That don't scream corruption. And then I had fun with Central Texas VA, and both of them basically doing posts regarding the 22 plus situation, 22 plus a day situation. And one thing I've said to their faces, even, since I've been going to the VA and dealing with their lousy care and lack thereof, is that especially having a family and the lack of benefits or resources they have for families, veterans with families, that or how difficult it is to get what few they have, such as head lash, that well, I literally put on the Central Texas VA's post that well, you can either go and look it up yourself on Facebook or just hear my summary, which is, maybe there wouldn't be so many if they actually cared about the veterans' quality of life and gave two shakes and would stop denying veterans care. Because I mean, if a veteran's having to fight left and right, like like a parent you are, and many others, if you're having to fight tooth and nail just to get basic health care, and or having to restart it because you had to move somewhere else because of housing costs or whatever the reason may be, it gets so frustrating. It's like, who wants to deal with it? I mean, yeah, I'm lucky to have a strong spiritual foundation, but that doesn't mean that I haven't had those thoughts cross my mind a couple of times in my lifetime. I'll admit it, because especially if I was dealing with the VA or other problems. But the one thing that that keeps me, I'll be honest, I personally do not suffer. No, I do not suffer a true PTSD. I'll admit, and many people in the past, probably a lot of them didn't either. And when we were also more of a religious, more service members had a foundation and faith to start with, which help. I mean, I will say it does not help in all. Faith does not help in all cases of PTSD, but it can help deal with it. No matter what situation, it can help deal with it and take it from at least a 20 down to a 10 or 8. And yeah, in some cases, medications or other things might be needed. Like, I'm not a complete denier on that, but sometimes it's just having a good foundation for a veteran to walk on. If the ground is sturdy underneath you, every vet knows you can work from that. And our scripture says, you build a house on a strong foundation, not on sinking sand. Well, every vet needs a good, strong foundation. Personally, I believe that foundation is in Christ and Christ alone. But a faith foundation, the stronger the faith foundation, the more solid base the veteran has to combat PTSD, to combat addictions, alcoholism, to combat violence, combat a lot of it. But there's also good reasons for justifiable anger too. Even Christ himself got mad at the money changers in scripture. So and for anyone that doesn't, and you say you agree with me. Anyone that doesn't agree with me, go read the King James, or I suggest the New King James Version if you don't understand Shakespearean English. These thou thus. Uh, you know, and say that anything that I'm saying is in disagreement with Scripture. I may not always be able to quote the Scripture exactly 100% and say where it is. But I could generally tell you, Old or New Testament, give you a place, starting point to look for it. I have read the Bible from Genesis 1:1 to Revelations, whatever it is. I have read, including Numbers. My daughter is 12. When I was her age, I read the Bible cover to cover twice. Oh, because I kept getting hung up on numbers. Yeah, it's foundation. is where everyone should start. But when it comes to the VA, the only thing good about the VA are the buildings they're housed in. Have been around for, well, some of them have been around since the Civil War. Some of the properties, but then you get, but even that has caused problems in like Pittsburgh. I mean, they had problems with the water system causing legionnaires. Try to get a drink from the water fountain, you end up catching legionnaires because the water filtration system is so bad. So, yeah, I believe that was either Pittsburgh or Philly, one of the two. It might have been both. It's been a few years now. But it is what it ain't. If you don't know, the Give Send Go underneath, which is like GoFundMe, but more faith based, more less rules. So they allow for religious reasons too. Is I'm trying to get a mobility scooter because the VA keeps failing. Share it out if you can. The Venmos, if hey, you want to say here's a coffee or something, you can do that. Do that if you want to. I don't ask for it. I just say it because it's there. I don't ask anybody for. Well, I try not to ask anybody for anything just because I'm a stubborn old vet. But and that's the worst part about it. That the VA does. That is one thing that I still to this day don't understand with the VA. At least generally, most male vets and a lot of the female vets. Granted, there are some female vets that they need to go back to being cheerleaders in high school with all the drama. But in generally speaking, and I'm not talking about somebody stupid YouTube handle. Um, in general, most veterans, you know, male and female, okay, they don't even complain unless things are super serious. We don't like to complain. We don't like to speak up, but we need a problem. We don't like to ask for help. We want to do it on our own. We want to be the providers for our family. We want to, we serve because we care. We care to protect others, not ourselves. So when we're asking for help from the VA, you would think but then again, the VA staff is what the VA staff is. Uh, Mostly, I believe, well, the ones that are in charge of making decisions, the majority of them are non-American that I've ran into over the last 10 years. Well, not non-American, non-American, they're not native-born U.S. citizens. Let me say that properly. Correct myself and say they're not native-born U.S. citizens. For example, the specialist in charge of me getting or not getting a mobility scooter, the doctor, is from a country that is predominantly Islamic, anti-Christian, and most of those hardcore are also anti-American. But he's a doctor with the VA. And he kind of oversaw, and yeah, he was part of my previous denial and denied me a FOIA request on what their approval versus denial rates are based upon a breakdown of demographics such as branch of service, male, female, race, gender, faith if known, because it was all the information that was on our dog tag, other than what you could plainly see. I asked for a demographic breakdown of approvals versus denials. First, I tried to do it through that location, was denied. Then I tried to do it at the federal level for both that, the Central Texas region and national, so I could have a comparison, and was told that the VA supposedly, allegedly, does not keep those numbers. So we don't know how many approvals versus denials there are for power mobility devices for veterans. Whether or not they approve female veterans more, or veterans of a certain served during a certain time, or a certain faith or certain skin color. We don't know that because allegedly they don't keep those numbers. But those numbers would be inherent on their, on approvals versus denials. They should know how many veterans they denied that year versus how many veterans they approved every year, that fiscal quarter or year for power mobility devices. For whatever, I didn't ask for identifiable information such as, based upon disability, missing limb versus, just ill. But this doctor seems to think that even though in my chart it says lymphatic edema, I have vertigo, I'm a fall risk. I literally fell like a tree last night outside my own RV. Luckily, no serious injuries. Just at worst, I've got a few scrapes around my pinky. I'm trying to use my rollator to catch myself. And they offered me another rollator, but those rollators would make my condition worse. A metal bar for a back brace, for example. With a very thin, we're talking like quarter-inch spool noodle for the padding for a rollator, and then a hard base for the seat. Okay, those aren't good if you have degenerative disc disease, 2 disc bulges in your back, and then of course, trying to operate the rollator itself because of ulnar nerve issues and other health issues. Yeah, and you're already at fall risk with vertigo, and they've already told them you fallen at least 15 times in the last month, plus another 20 near misses. Yeah, okay, you're a fall risk. But, they don't care. You're just fat. You're just morbidly obese. I still haven't gotten approval from the VA for a mobility scooter. That's why I have the Gibson Go. They're still denying me. The most recent denial was just a couple weeks ago, and it was because, since I'm a full-time RVer, it's because of inconsistent power and protection from the elements, the weather. Okay, they sell every single mobility scooter out there. One of the accessories you can purchase for them is a weather cover, basically a barbecue cover, grill cover design, shaped to fit that, that model of scooter, mobility scooter or chair or whatever. And I'm sorry, you got most of the East Coast right now that has inconsistent power thanks to a hurricane. And this is Texas. This is Austin, Central Texas, Austin, Texas. You get both hurricanes and tornadoes and ice storms here, all in the same year. So I'm sorry, even a sticks and bricks home isn't protected from power. I have been fighting to try to get a mobility scooter since pre-COVID, since 2019. In New York, I was told, since I didn't have a ramp and a proper way to store, basically kind of the same thing. And I was in an apartment, but they were putting the cart before the horse because you can't force a landlord, even though you have a wooden deck, you can't force a landlord in New York State under landlord tenant laws for ADA compliance for such as a wheelchair or power scooter or anything if you don't have the device, you don't have the prescription. They're not going to put one in just all willy nilly. Yeah, right. So then in Ohio, in the middle of COVID, I was staying somewhere that basically was an old plumbing store slash warehouse. You can park vehicles in part of it. You can back them up in the, through a garage bay, a garage door, big garage door. Then I was denied because I wasn't on oxygen. Since I wasn't using an oxygen tank, I don't deserve a power scooter. Then I was out of the Louisville, Kentucky office in Kentucky during COVID, at the end of COVID. I didn't quite get the opportunity to request while I was there for a scooter because we got forced. Well, we got the assistance and forced to get back on the road towards Texas too quickly before I could make that request. And then get to Texas. Started off in the Houston area, and you can't sleep it over. They were still playing COVID muck games at the VA clinic, and so we made our way over here to Central Texas, because I have a relative that lives over this way that I was trying to reconnect and rebuild blood familial relationships with. I barely knew this half brothers. Last time I saw him, he was about 12 years old, and so just wanted to try and rebuild that connection or build a connection there, and haven't done so well. But God has called and kept us here in this area for many reasons, I guess. And then while here, one of the first things out the gate I've been trying to do since I've been here in Austin has been trying to get a power mobility scooter. And this upcoming December, this upcoming November, basically I've been trying here in Austin for almost 2 years now to get a power mobility scooter. And it took all the way until March of 2023 to get me the first appointment up there in Temple, because they were playing muck games with the appointment system. And the thing is, I'm not even trying. I don't even have a disability rating with the VA. I'm not service connected. The only reason I am eligible for health care with the VA is because I'm a poor mofo. That's it. Now, do I have a lot of health problems that I think are service related? Yeah, but I left the service in 1996 and didn't start going to the VA until about really going to the VA until 2014, 2014-15 time frame. I think I first started using the VA when I found out they had the income eligibility program was in 2010. And one of the things they've always said about me is, "Oh, your cholesterol levels are elevated or above normal." Now, I can't drive on the base and go to the PX or NEX or how you want to refer to it, but I can shop online. I can do online and have it sent to me because of my veteran status. I can do the shopping online, but I've found most of the stuff online. They think they're being funny and having Sam's Club pricing, and the Sam's Club pricing is still more expensive than the Walmart. And go to Walmart and heck, and sometimes even Kroger for like say groceries, and get it way cheaper. I can go to Walmart or Amazon and get things way cheaper than a lot of what they're pricing stuff out as. That car, I'd be able to what? Well, I did have a car, but transmission went out on that, and now I'm just trying to trade that car and tow dolly for a trailer that I can actually put a mobility scooter into. And maybe, if lucky, if someone were nice enough to donate one or something, because it has been semi sort of mentioned, a golf cart or UTV or something. You know, basically a golf cart or UTV and place for a mobility scooter. And if the trailer is big enough for me to store other things as well as maybe turn into a little office studio, even better. So that way it cleans up the space inside the RV. Makes the main RV more livable and drivable. Don't have to worry about as many things falling on your noggin going down the road, especially those New York potholes. I've had New York potholes take out complete tires. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't even know how I get base access because yes, I have a VA ID card, but a VA ID card even or a veteran ID card, the VIC, does not allow you base access. Basically, only active and retired card, only the active family and retired cards allow base access that I know of, and well, of course, contractor ID. I still think it's messed up. They don't still do the decals on the windshield like we used to. I always thought that was kind of cool. You spot another veteran in a parking lot, and oh, or another active duty. Oh, you're stationed over at such and such. You know, especially if you're home on leave. Oh, cool. You know, how's it? You know, how's it there? You know, and strike up a nice conversation. Help you spot fellow veterans. I mean, yeah, they got license plates now, but I found that don't always mean nothing. I've actually watched the spouse of a Marine. It was a Marine's license. It was a Marine veteran license plate. My wife was with me. Basically, park in a no in the space in between handicap parking spaces where you're supposed to unload the ramp, the lift. Back in, block that space, and this woman was driving a car with Marine vet, you know, the Marine veteran license plate. And I asked if she served. Oh no, my husband did. Well, you think? And I sat there and yelled back. Well, you think you would have some respect for other veterans and disabled than to park like they did. She just drove off, all not giving two shakes. And that's another thing is the lady was Hispanic, which is why I was kind of iffy. Is like, okay, did they buy the car with the plates on it and not swap it out? Because I've also seen that where someone bought an RV off of a fellow amateur radio operator and was keeping the plates on it while dealing drugs out of their RV in violation of state law for what the state law is regarding the amateur radio plates. I reached out to that amateur radio operator because he has a family, and yeah. Well, I know that I can't even use the most 90% of the campgrounds I can't use because I'm not service connected. That's the big thing. Yeah, income eligibility is not, is different than being service connected. Now, and well, that's also part of the problem is I've been trying to get the CMP exams, and I sort of had one done back in what 2017, 2018. I had a CMP exam done. Some things were inconclusive, but the rest of it basically said that I'm disabled. And that's another that's another thing the VA does to screw you out of benefits is when you can't complete something because of the pain and things where you're supposed to stop if you're in pain or unable to complete it. Well, instead of putting that in and doing the measurements, as Skipper at Veteran Nation has mentioned, I believe it was him that was mentioning it. Instead of doing that, inconclusive. It's inconclusive. How's it inconclusive? It's conclusive that I couldn't finish. Well, I'm not a senior citizen yet. I do have the Texas State Veterans Park Pass, which allows me and my vehicle free entry into the state parks, free day entry, and a discount at the store uh, until the end of this month, or excuse me, until the end of October. I have the paid for Texas State Parks Pass that allows me for you know second night half off for camping at the state parks that allow it, and discount in store and free entry. Free entry to the park. Uh, and then I also have the National Parks Pass for veterans. That free one. Well, I know one of them cost me like $10 to be issued because it has my name on it. I don't remember if that was the national or the state. I think that was the national. Yeah, the national one. Basically, charged me $10 to send it to me. But yeah, I've got that lifetime free veteran park pass, but for the federal parks, and it also includes Army Corps of Engineers and a couple of other things. But the tricky part is the camping part, especially because it doesn't say if it gives a discount on camping. Because if it did, I'd be all over that. Like, or if it gave like free camping at Army COE camp. Because here's the problem with Texas. Texas only has one, and the national park system only has one national park really, and that's Big Bend. They're at the southern border. Everything else in Texas is like Army COEs, Corps of Engineer parks, which is nice if it did include discounts on camping. But you go to the websites, you go to the websites for the parks, for the individual locations, and or try to look on look online on the national system, and I don't see where it does anything. Yeah, I can go into the park for free with the pass, like the free veterans one, state one for veterans, free entry, but it doesn't say anything about discount or free or second night half off or anything like that, or 10% off, anything like that for the campground part of it. Yes, I could go to the Bureau of Land Mismanagement properties in California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Arizona, Nevada, the BLM lands. Anybody can park on those, for free. Boondock on those out in those areas for free. Heck, I'm where I've mostly been parked here in Austin. When we occasionally can afford the state park over there, we go to it. But for the most part, we've been sitting in a city, on a road in a city park, on the side of a road, on a public street next to the sidewalk. Well, there was actually sidewalk, like a street, but it was still far enough from the trail, and it was within the. Actually, they called it a forest area even. There's all sorts of different things and scenarios. I mean, I was talking with Spawn Trooper and mentioning solar. Yeah, especially with a lot of the newer stuff. You go solar, and heck, they've even got those osmosis machines to get your own, take water from the air, from humidity. Yeah, you right setup, you could boondock anywhere and be great. Heck, I don't want to have to always drive around in boondock. Not to be hooked up to power and whatnot. If we could afford a plot of land that didn't have RV restrictions on it, we'd do that. Yeah, we're living in a Class C motorhome full time. Can't afford rent anywhere. I mean, anywhere in this country anymore. We're a family of three, and I'll be honest, our only income is my wife's SSI, which is $943 a month. Where can anybody afford to live for less? Well, the old school rules used to be 50%. So for 50% of 943, utilities included, which is basically what, $470 a month, can you get a 2-bedroom place? And to be honest, we spend about $600 to $700 a month just on bills. Yeah, a few of them are credit card bills, and I'm paying the minimum on. I pay a little bit more when I can, but they get they get reused a lot of times. Yeah, and then you got to jump through hoops. And here's the problem: thanks to an ex-girlfriend of mine that I was staying with, I can't do Section 8 housing. I can't do HUD VASH. I was denied HUD VASH, even though I'm married with someone different, and we're talking more than 10 years and in a different state. We were in Ohio versus New York, and it was been more than 10 years. They still held what that ex did against me. trying to do the HUD-FASH program. And that's when I found out about and reached out to Coda Vets about that same time, and through their help was able to get the first RV. Granted, it was they raised a little over $2,000, and I paid $2,000 for the RV, and I got what I paid for. Wasn't the greatest. It didn't last. Well, it lasted. We made it last long because we were parked somewhere, but as far as driving down the road, it did not last long. It went from near Findlay, Ohio, down to Sanders, Kentucky, near the Kentucky Motor Speedway. Literally, the last place it really drove was at the Kentucky Motor Speedway. Technically, I wasn't on Section 8. I was on the lease. It was the ex-girlfriend who was the primary. At that exact time, I was working as a security guard. Well, I went from working as a security guard at the local university to working as a security guard at the Dresser Rand plant in town. Yeah, got an eviction notice because of her. I wasn't even in town. I went across. Actually, a lot of it happened while I was out of town. I'd driven cross country to Washington State to try to fight for custody for my oldest son, well, what I consider to be my oldest son. Yeah, of course. My name was on the lease, so I got it too. But it was over 10 years old. And I'm with someone new with a child, totally different child, totally different spouse. And it got held against me. Oh, after 10 years. I don't know. They never came after me for it. They never came after me for. I don't even think there wasn't anything owed because welfare was paying the rent. It's a eviction over cleanliness. Thing is, it wasn't on my credit report. It was in the Section 8. Section 8. There was nothing owed. It was basically just don't rent. Such and such. It never shows up in my credit report. I have had physical hard copies of my credit report from all three bureaus, and it was in none of them. It did not show up in any of them. So when I was denied for that reason, and it had been 11 years since the incident, I was confused as heck. Now I have an identity thief using my identity over in the state of Georgia, and he's about as dark as Daffy behind me. Using my name and social, and about this time of year, every year, he's either running up a medical bill or trying to get a job in my name. But and that only lasts a couple months, long enough for me to. Oh, and don't forget, occasionally trying to get a cell phone account in my name. Yeah, Murphy's Law has applied way too much in my life. I'm due for a good break. I think. Well, the thing is, one, I can't even, I wouldn't even know because a couple of times I've tried to go through and do the whole first time home buyers and VA home loan guarantee stuff to try to look at doing something like that. Because of my credit score, I can't even get far enough. Actually, the eviction notice has never shown up anywhere else. That was the fun part. We rented other places through welfare and things like that. It never showed up until I tried going through the HUD/Section 8 program in Ohio 11 years later. It never showed up any other time. That eviction notice never showed up any other time but then. And that's not the only place I've been evicted from. But usually eviction notices don't show up unless you've been evicted like from 3 to 5 places within same metropolitan area. Then then you end up on somebody's blackball list. But yeah, my credit score right now is, depending on which bureau, is either bottom 600, like 600 to 610, or upper 500. And I've been fighting like hell to get it that high. But most of these places that, for first time home buyer and VA home loan guarantee, the realtors and whatnot that even say they specialize in that, say they won't even touch somebody unless they have at least a 700, or at least a six. Well, some of them say 650, but usually 700 from all three bureaus. The thing is, it wasn't a court ordered eviction. It never got so far as court order. And in fact, the one court order eviction that in New York State is real big about not doing that. Why is my score so low? Well, because I've never been blessed to have a well-paying us to have anything above a poverty level for an income. I've always been below poverty level. No. No, you're good. But anywho, see, I don't have any store cards. I was barely able to get the couple of credit cards I did get. I tried when I first turned 18 to get a couple things, and because I was starting off with a zero score at that time, nobody would give me anything. But then again, I never heard back from one company for a gas card. To this day, I still haven't heard back from them. So I don't know if if I ever was approved or denied or anything. And that was Texaco. Before I went into the service, I applied for a Texaco, the Texaco card. Never got, I don't know, if I got it, if it showed up in the mail at my grandparents' place, they never got forwarded to me on base. And they forwarded a lot of my mail, and I didn't, I actually looked to see if there was a couple other places I had applied for credit around the same time that, I got the denial letters because of zero score. And then, yeah, but I haven't had a super wonderful life for finances. So, the most I ever made in a single year, the only time the IRS ever saw me make more than 20 grand in a year, and that was right at 20 grand, was in around 1998, around 1999, when I was working as a armed security guard in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro, and I was working 72 hours a week, up to on a regular basis on call. Oh yeah, I know what I owe is a lot of things that I owe on other than a couple of credit cards now, but maybe two other things other than credit cards that will eventually drop off. But it's a weird game how they do that. They don't see, it's weird. They look at it and say, I think your credit score determines everything, but they don't look at that a lot of the places that you've lived even on welfare's dime for a lot of it for 3, 4, 5 years at a time without getting evicted or anything. Even though we eventually do get evicted because we stopped paying rent because the landlords weren't fixing nothing, and we got tired of dealing with it. But just what it ain't. I think this phone's about to die, so even though I've got it on a charger, it doesn't seem to be charging too well. But at almost 3 hours, yep, a lot of info. Now, if only they could catch my identity thief. Although one of the breaches includes both of his physical numbers as well as the address he's been at there in the Atlanta, Georgia metro area, and an email address. So, yeah, unfortunately, I can't charge my laptops without a working generator at the moment. Well, I could off a battery box, but it'd be ridiculous. So, but it's also pushing almost 3 hours I've been live. So, nice to meet you, love. Please like, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Throw an extra comment if you're coming in later. The regular gobbledygook. So this thing's gonna just drop out on me if I don't end it peacefully. So take care. God bless. Shalom.